Welcome back to Slushie Review. This is Keith.
And this is Chris.
And today we are reviewing Green Lantern, made in 2011, right? We figured 10 years ago?
Yeah.
If this comes out in 2021.
Damn well better.
It might not.
Otherwise, we look like idiots.
Well, will we? Will we?
No more than usual.
There it is. Yes, this movie is 2011 with Ryan Reynolds. It got a very bad reception review when it first came out.
Definitely. And I never saw it.
And I knew about it too, and I saw it, and then I didn't remember it. So I watched it again a couple weeks ago, and I was like, Chris, we got to do this. Because I think it's getting a bad rap, and it shouldn't. Not like shouldn't, but like it's not as bad as everyone says. At least that's what I thought.
Okay.
So that's the reason why I was like, we should watch it. Because why not? We've watched worse DC movies.
What the hell else are we going to do with our lives?
We watch worse DC movies. So just throwing it out there.
I'm looking at you, birds.
Looking at you, Suicide.
Yeah. Bird Squad.
Okay, so because of Green Lantern, this episode is brought to you by Green Slushies. They're delicious.
They're not red at all.
I can't.
Why would a strawberry kiwi slushie be red?
Right, yeah. What, strawberry? What? Anyway, before we get started, thank you for listening. We definitely appreciate it. Make sure you follow us at Slushie Review on Twitter at Slushie Review. You can also check us out on YouTube. Just search Slushie Review. We pop up. We're the first result. And then check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And also, coming soon, Instagram. Follow us on IG.
The gram.
At Slushie Review Podcast.
Yes.
We just started it. Need some followers. Need some likes. Okay, so let's get into this movie, The Green Lantern. And first up, we're going to do the cast.
Yeah.
That's me. The cast on the cast. First up, top billing, Ryan Reynolds. Mr. Hal Jordan / Green Lantern / Deadpool / Weapon X 11. X? 11. Which one?
11.
X.
X is Wolverine.
I thought X was Deadpool and then 11 was a little girl.
X, I think, is Wolverine.
Okay.
Because here's where it gets weird. Because in the comics, if you go to a certain point, they change it to where Captain America is technically Weapon 1. And Wolverine is Weapon X, being like Roman numeral 10.
10.
So, God knows where anybody else falls in between there.
Isn't that... Okay. Either way. Yeah, so Ryan Reynolds. Like him in everything. He's great as Deadpool. He's great as Green Lantern. He was great as... What else is it?
Detective Pikachu.
Detective Pikachu, I forgot.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, he was the dad.
He's gonna be he's gonna be in that Free Guy movie,
Yes.
which still hasn't out yet. I
It's
would
not
like
out
to I
yet.
would like to see it.
Did you ever watch the action adventure movie he was in last year that came out on Netflix? It was like Underground 6 or something like that.
No, I did not.
I didn't watch it either, but
I
it
added
looked
it
good,
on my
though.
list.
I did
put it
too.
on my list with everything else that I don't watch in favor of Arrested Development and Community, and until recently, The Office.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so.
But it's in there. It's languishing in that list somewhere.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, well, off of Ryan Reynolds. Next up, we have Blake Lively. Blake Lively plays... Somebody I clicked off of it. Sorry. She plays Carol Ferris. Sorry. I guess she's best known for Gossip Girl. She was in The Town. You ever seen The Town with Batfleck and Bane? Bane is in it.
Tom Hardy?
Yeah.
No.
I guess I could have gone on Venom, but he was a better Bane than he was a Venom. Did you like Venom?
I did. I didn't love it. I thought it was good.
I didn't love it.
I thought it was good enough.
It was okay.
I'm looking forward to the next one because it's got Woody Harrelson in it.
You think that's going to happen?
I hope so.
But do you think it's going to happen?
I hope so. Yes.
I'm being negative right now because I don't
fair.
think it's gonna happen.
I want it to happen.
Yeah, me.
If they can make a fucking Michael Morbius movie, they can pull their heads out of their asses and make Venom 2.
Are they gonna make that? Michael Morbius?
Maybe. I don't know. Jared Leto's gonna be in it, so probably.
That did look good though.
He's probably gonna act like a fucking vampire in real life and freak everybody out.
Yes, I hope so. Let's see. Next up, we have Peter Sarsgaard. He's Hector Hammond. I know him from a movie called Orphan. I've told you about this movie. It's a little girl.
Yes.
You see?
Yes, you have told me about this.
Every time I bring it up, I'm like, it's a little girl. You're like, oh, yeah, that's right. Yes, he was the dad in the movie. And he got killed because she was trying to seduce him as an 8-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, no. To be fair, this is one of the reasons why I hated the movie. Like, I love the movie. It's a great movie. But that part, I hate it because he kind of gave in a little bit. And I was like, bro, that's your child. That's your adopted child. What are you talking about?
Ugh.
What are you doing? He was like, no. And then he was like, no. This is wrong. And then she killed him. She was like, you don't love me for my body. And I was like, yeah, it's an 8-year-old. But it wasn't an 8-year-old. We didn't know yet.
It's an insufferable child.
Yeah, and then she just killed him. And then she came out of all of her trappings of a kid. She took out her like fake teeth. She had her chest like wrapped up. Mm-hmm. She unwrapped everything, and I was like, oh, that is an old lady. Either way, that's how I know him. Next up, we have Mark Strong as Sinestro. Mark Strong, he's a repeater on the podcast.
Yeah,
he was in Shazam, Dr. Savannah.
Yep,
that was his name. I couldn't remember it earlier.
I still remember him mostly from Kick-Ass.
Oh, yeah. Kick-Ass as well. I forgot about that.
I forget his first name, Gigante. He was a badass. I mean, he fought a child, so I guess it makes him a badass. I thought he was cool in the movie. I thought he was cool in Kick-Ass.
That's fair.
He fought a couple children.
I can't knock it. Let's see. Next up, we have Tim Robbins. Tim Robbins is traditionally a funny man. He was in Shawshank Redemption, I guess. Never seen it.
Same.
I don't really care to watch movies like that. Apparently, it's a classic. But Tim Robbins. Go look him up if you want. Next up, we have J.O. Sanders. He's Carl Ferris. He's Blake Lively's dad in the movie. I remember this guy from The Day After Tomorrow. That's it. He plays a lot of... Oh, okay. He plays a lot of different shows. Like, he's never, like, the lead character, but he's always in the background somewhere. So, he's cool. Next up, podcast favorites, Taika Waititi. He plays Tom Kalmaku. He's great. Didn't even know he acted like that. Thought he was a director, which he is. He played Hitler in Jojo Rabbit.
Yup.
And I'm looking at pictures and oh my God. Taika is just, he's too much. But he's Korg and he's Korg.
Yup.
Did you know he was IG-11?
Yes.
In The Mandalorian.
Yes.
Is that the one that did the self-explosion in the first
so.
episode, second episode or something?
He shot him in the first episode. And then he became the nanny bot toward the end of the first season.
Okay. Yeah.
He took his helmet off in front of him because he was like, I'm not alive.
He was like, yeah, I'm not a human.
He's like, I'm not a living thing. Take your hat off, dummy.
Let me see what that face be like.
You're dying. He's like, oh, put it back on.
Yeah.
No,
that's a face for radio.
Hey, there's a face for Wonder Woman 84. That baby face.
That's fair. Let's see. Next up, Angela Bassett plays Dr. Amanda Waller.
I didn't know she was a doctor.
Same. Didn't either. But this incomparable Angela Bassett, who hasn't won any awards and should definitely win some. And I'm always gonna stick up for her because not that she can't do it herself, but
why not?
Damn it. She should win some fucking awards for everything because she's amazing. And I'm out. Next up, now is Jack Jordan? Is that another Green Lantern name?
I don't know.
Okay.
These are all the Jordans. I'm guessing were like his siblings.
Yeah, those are his
yelling
brother.
at him.
But Jack Jordan just seemed familiar. Okay. If he's not, he's not.
I mean,
it's just Hal Jordan and what's the other guy?
Jon Stewart.
Jon Stewart. Those are the only two.
There's other ones. There's at least one more that I can't think of his name because they mentioned him in Young Justice and they're like, I don't like that guy. He's a loose cannon.
It's probably Jack Jordan. He's trash.
His name. You trash, Jack.
So either way, he's in a movie for a split second. Mike Doyle plays Jack Jordan, his brother. There's also Nick Jandel plays Jim Jordan, his other brother. They were kind of annoying. Let's see. I'm going to skip to John Tenney. He played Martin Jordan. He also died. Next up, Tamara Morrison.
Podcast favorite.
Podcast favorite.
I will give him podcast favorite every
Boba
time.
Fett.
Boba Fett. Django
Aquaman's
Fett.
dad.
Yeah.
Django Fett.
Why not?
He's the greatest. He's so good. I don't even know why, but he's good. But he played Abin Sur, another guy. Another Green Lantern. Sorry. Let's see.
He's a guy.
He's a guy. He looks like a guy. Let's see. Next up, Jeffrey Rush.
Yes.
Tamar Ray. He did the voice. If you don't know the name Jeffrey Rush, then you may know the name of, Chris, help me with it.
Hector Barbosa.
Captain Barbosa.
Captain.
In Pirates of the Caribbean.
You best start believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one. He was a pirate.
It was good. I love Pirates of the Caribbean. I love it.
It's not getting to the land of the dead that's the hard part. It's getting back.
There it is.
That was for Megan. I know she doesn't listen, but it's in there. She always wants me to do the voice. And I never do it.
Because you're talented,
and I never do it for her.
Let's get you in some voice.
Because she's
you don't
got to
even need
listen
lessons.
to the thing.
Let's just go do it.
I could use them probably.
No.
I don't know.
Smooth, silky.
They'd be like, start acting, and I'd do my walk-in impression.
I love it. That's good, though. That's enough.
I'm like, it's not getting to the land of the dead.
Cut and print.
Isn't the hard part. It's getting back. And it would all fall apart.
How about?
Exactly. I'm paying for this.
Next up, Michael Clark Duncan. May he rest in peace, but he is Kilowog as a voice. He does a great job. Next up, we have Clancy Brown. I don't know if you looked him up, but
I just looked him up.
Yep, Clancy Brown. He's been in a ton of stuff. He did the voice of Parallax. Chris has something.
He was Surtur.
Yeah, Surtur. Yes, in
Son
Ragnarok.
of a bitch.
Yep, son of a bitch. Yes, he does so many voices. That's what I was saying. He does a ton of voices.
Nice.
Because if you're looking it up, it should just all be like voice work for the most part, right? Yes.
Looks like it.
He was also in Starship Troopers, which we may or may not have reviewed it when you hear this. Let's say you will, because I'm probably going to do it recently. But go check out our review for Starship Troopers. Clancy Brown was definitely in it. He was great. Let's see. I believe
he was in the Ninja Turtles cartoon.
Yeah.
In 2012, he was Razar.
Yeah.
/ Chuck Norris analog Chris Bradford.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go. So besides all that, that's everybody for the cast. Let's go to Chris with Channel 5 for the plot.
Oh boy.
Young sir.
All right. Plot of Green Lantern. I almost said Iron Man. Plot of Green Lantern. All right. Hal Jordan is a Top Gun fighter pilot who sleeps around, apparently, to get over the one that got away. What's her name again? Blake Lively.
Yeah,
Carol. So he's a slut, and he's got a traumatic past, like most comic book characters do, of he watched his father explode.
Literally.
His father was a fighter pilot like him, or a test pilot like he grew up to be. For some reason, he decided he wanted to do the same thing as his father.
Yeah.
So, actually, we're not even on Hal Jordan yet. Space. The final frontier.
I knew it.
There's
Fucking knew it.
there's 3 aliens on a strange planet. They fall through the surface of the planet, find some other weird looking alien, like encased in some like green crystal structure. He like senses their fear, wakes up, eats their fear / skeletons.
I thought it was soul. I thought it was Shang Tsung.
Soul, I don't know. He eats their soul gems, which also are shaped like their skeletons, and is revived. Cut to like almost immediately after, or to say like 6 months after.
6 months.
Abin Sur is attacked by this same alien. He has now become, his name is Parallax. He's this giant nebulous smoke cloud monster thing with a big face in the middle of it, who eats people's fear, or not necessarily people, eats your fear. If he senses it and knows you're afraid and knows that you're afraid of being afraid, he will eat your fear and you will die. He is like one of the, apparently a big threat to the Green Lantern Corps. Abin Sur is a Green Lantern. I think the 3 other aliens might have been. It attacks him. He gets grievously injured, and he has to go to the nearest. He's like, I'm dying. I have to go to the nearest inhabited planet to find my replacement in the Green Lantern Corps. It's Earth. He shows up on Earth after Hal Jordan, human slut, who is late for his test flight because he was busy banging some broad, and he slept in because apparently adults aren't allowed to do that. He was ravenous after a night of lovemaking, so he overslept, and he got there late. Still got it. It was still there. He made it while wrapping a present for a child and driving and almost causing 2 collisions. He got there. Does his deal. He has to prove. Well, he's there to like do some test flights because there's these automated jets that are supposed to replace real pilots, or like they said that they can outclass real pilots.
Yeah, you don't have to deal. Was this one, or was it a different movie that said you don't have to deal with the human error?
I forget.
I feel like there was another movie we kind of did.
Ultron?
No.
Or about pilots?
About pilots.
I don't know.
The human error. You go. I'll think about it.
But okay, so he does his flight thing, shows up on the jets, outflies them by being reckless. Apparently this is Hal Jordan's MO. He's reckless, he is irresponsible, can't be counted on when the chips are down. So naturally he's the first person that this ring chooses to be the bearer of responsibility, to be the bearer of great power and great responsibility. Not related to Spider-Man, but this ring shows up on Earth with Abin Sur. He's dying and says, find my replacement. It bubbles him up, carries him away after he leaves the child's birthday party, and bestows upon him his ring of power as well as the lantern. What is it? Did you think of it? What is it?
Mandalorian.
Ah, the Dark Troopers?
Yep.
Yes.
I knew it was something.
So good. So good.
I knew it was, I was like, what am I thinking of?
I need to rewatch that.
I was just about to Google it.
And it's relevant because Boba Fett's in this movie.
That's fair.
So it's on brand.
Same.
Okay. Oh, yeah. And that's who plays Abin Sur, is Temuera Morrison as Boba Fett. He dies.
Perfect.
Segway, not just a scooter for magicians. Gives him his ring, gives him the lantern that powers the ring. It is a green lantern. That's where the name comes from. So he gets his ring and flees the scene. After Taika Waititi, he calls Taika Waititi, he shows up, they leave together because he's like, hey, I just found a fucking alien. And they're like, oh, cool, that's neat. Oh, here comes the government. Let's beat it. The fuzz is on its way. And they pick up this alien body and find some weirdo to do, through nepotism, find this guy to do an autopsy on the alien. The first alien that humanity has discovered. And they're like, you are a xenobiologist. Not sure how anyone gets that title when this is the first alien that they've apparently come into contact with.
Well, Xeno just means skeleton, I think.
I thought it meant alien. Or like things that are different, because like xenophobia is another word for like racism, isn't it?
You are correct.
And like because like the xenomorphs in Alien or Aliens. I feel like xeno is just like a prefix meaning alien. I could be wrong.
It just means
or like different,
relating to a foreigner or foreigners.
Okay.
Other, different in origin.
Yeah.
So maybe xenobiologist. I don't know. I'm not speaking into the mic. Maybe xenobiologist means he is a biologist for other species. So it could be animals.
Okay.
So, yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
So they get this guy to do an autopsy on the alien. He finds some yellow shit in the alien's wound. This yellow thing like pricks him or sticks his finger, infects him. He is now, as we learn later in the movie, inhabited by this same alien. It is Parallax. It has like controlled. It's giving him power. He can hear people's thoughts. He can touch you and see your memories. He has telekinetic abilities, and it's kind of driving him a little crazy with like fear and power. So naturally, he knows Ryan Reynolds' character. He knows Hal Jordan. He knows Carol, and he's been in love with her since the day he saw her, and he's always seen Hal as an obstacle. Well, now that he's got power, he decides he can have her. Well, this fucking mook doesn't know that Hal Jordan's the Green Lantern, so he's in for a world of hurt when he decides to try to kill his own father by throwing a beer tap into the rear rotor of his helicopter. And Hal saves the day, and then he just decides to kidnap the girl and try to mutate her into something like him with more of this yellow goo, and Hal saves the day again by tricking him, and then Parallax just fucking shows up on the front door. In between these things, because I just glossed over it, I realized Hal goes to the Green Lantern homeworld of Oa, like as soon as he gets the ring, and he goes to the planet of Oa and meets other Lanterns, is trained under Kilowog, and then Sinestro in the use of his powers.
How do you say his name?
Who? The red guy?
Yeah.
I don't know. Sinestro?
I don't know. I say Sinestro.
I think it is Sinestro.
Yeah.
Which,
I just asked because when you said it, I was like, oh, maybe I'm wrong.
I think it is Sinestro.
We did the Street Fighter episode a while ago,
Yeah.
and I was like, Ryu and Ryu.
I think it is Sinestro.
So I'm gonna just go with you. You know more than I do.
But if a character's name sounds like it's a synonym for something evil, they're probably gonna turn out to be evil.
So I always thought he was the bad guy.
He is a bad guy.
No, I know he is, but I thought he was always a bad guy.
I assumed he was the bad guy in this movie because again I never saw it, and once you told me he was in it, and he was, and I was like, oh, he's the bad guy, and you were like, no.
So I told you I thought him and Destro were the same thing. Did I tell you that?
Yes.
Yeah. So I had no idea.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, Destro. And I'm like, yeah.
From G.I. Joe.
Sinestro. And they're like, who's that? I'm like, I don't really know. Because I didn't know he was part of Green Lantern. I didn't know he was an evil guy. I just hear names. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds familiar. G.I. Joe has this guy too? Oh, okay. Yep. Cool. Nope.
Sinestro.
I was like, oh, because then another thing, it was like Deathstroke. I was like, oh, yeah, Deathstroke. Yeah, yep. I know who that is. Yeah. I'm from Batman. No, it's G.I. Joe. I was like, listen, I'm lost. Then somebody was like, Cobra Commander. I was like, I don't care anymore, actually. I'm done. Give me Power Rangers or give me death.
There we go.
Sorry.
Take some good old Power Rangers. Lord Zed, come on.
Same.
Cool.
Same. He looked really good. Like, he was the one thing that looked good in that show.
Yeah, to be fair.
He was basically, to be fair, he kind of looked like he was in, like, a sex cult because, like, you saw his insides, and then he was outlined in, like, silver.
Yeah.
Because, like, you saw his red body.
Yeah, like you saw, like, the muscles, and then he had, like, silver metallic, like,
Yes.
shit coming out of his collarbone, and he had that, like, sweet crown with the big Z on it, and the staff with the bigger Z on it.
He was so good.
And he had tubes coming out all over him. He was awesome.
He was good.
Lord Zed was the coolest villain, for my money. He
looked good.
Yeah.
But I only remember Rita. Like, I remember him, but Rita was, and then Goldar,
Yes.
and then Putties.
Yes.
So I remember Zed, but I don't. I'd never seen him do anything.
I think he was like Rita, where you're just like, oh, go send somebody out there, and I'm going to make him a giant monster.
Facts.
And I'm going to kick back with my wife, who I hate, because I think they got married at one point.
Oh, yeah, I think they did. I think you're right.
And there was like
It was a mess.
they hated each other, and it was amazing.
Just a mess.
But yeah, so Green Lantern.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I kind of forgot where I was at.
Same.
Goes to the home planet, comes back. Dude tries to mutate his girlfriend. Parallax shows up, and he defeats him. Hal defeats him. Defeats Parallax. That's the movie, folks.
That's it.
That's the movie, folks. Don't sue us, Warner Brothers.
Well, we're talking about Green Lantern, and they did this. It's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Again, it's on brand. So yeah, that's pretty much the plot. We'll get to probably a few of the things in likes and dislikes. So
That's fair. Let's go with some likes.
go ahead. You can go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, sure.
Again. That's okay. First like, Ryan Reynolds. I thought he did a great job as Hal Jordan. To be fair, I think I just like Ryan Reynolds
That's fair.
because he doesn't really play any different characters in any of his movies. And that's not really a knock, because if it works, it works. There's a couple people who play the same character in every movie that they are in.
You mean like the Dwayne the buff scientist Johnson?
Okay, him
Or
too.
Dwayne the buff paramilitary official, The Rock Johnson?
The zoologist.
Yeah. The most jacked primatologist you will ever see in your life.
Same.
If you're talking about Rampage.
So I wasn't thinking about him, but that's true. I was thinking of like Robert Downey Jr., Denzel Washington, Ryan Reynolds. I'm trying to think of somebody else who does the same. They don't act any different. I can't think of anybody else.
I was going to say Jack Black
Yeah.
in some instances.
Yes.
Like he
Because
often-
even in Enemy of the State, he was still fucking comical.
Yeah.
Yes, you are absolutely correct, Jack Black.
And I love Jack Black.
I love Jack Black, too.
It's just not a knock against Jack
No,
Black. 'cause I
nothing's
love
a
him.
knock against him. But he's definitely not my favorite musician, though. So
Well, that's fair.
Start off like that. Either way. Sorry. So yeah, Ryan Reynolds, I thought he was great as Hal. This goes into my next like Hal's story. This movie had a lot of exposition. There was a lot of talking and explaining, but it was needed because in DC Comics we know Batman, we know Superman who can be Batman, but that's neither here nor there. Then we know, all of Batman's villains and his sidekicks. And then we know Lois Lane. And that's kind of it as far as DC goes. Am I missing? Like, not today, but in general. Like,
Yeah.
if we just talk about over time, I think that's the main people that people know.
Yeah, like the main. I mean, Green Lantern's a big DC
Maybe
character.
Wonder Woman.
But yeah, like the big three for them is like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. And like animated series is prior to this movie. I don't think he had Green Lantern. Definitely, I don't think had his own. He would like show up on the Justice League one, or like he'd show up in a Superman one, maybe here and there. But it was like, oh, Batman's had like 3 cartoons. Superman's had like a couple.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Wonder Woman had one by this point, but she at least shows up in a lot of the other ones.
Super Friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when they were explaining the whole Green Lantern core and everything, it was needed.
Yeah.
And I liked it. I like the Green Lantern story. That's my next like. I like Hal's story and his background. And it all just made sense. And I really enjoyed it. So those are 3 of my likes. They were all tied in together. Ryan Reynolds, Hal's story, and the Green Lantern story. It was all explained to me, and I was like, oh, okay. This actually makes a lot of sense as far as DC goes. Boom. Next up, I wrote this down. I don't know why. But Racetrack Disappointed. And I know what scene it was.
I think I know what you mean.
I don't know why I liked it. But I wrote it down.
It's because he made a big racetrack with his powers, and Taika Waititi thought it was lame.
Yeah. And I don't know why I liked it, though. But I'm going to say I liked it because what the fuck do you expect? And I think I liked it because that's basically what Ryan Reynolds said to him. He was like, oh, you mean I thought of it out of my mind and it came to fruition and I saved everybody? What else? And you're disappointed. That's exactly what he said. And I was like, yes, yes, that will be my answer to you too. Do better.
Yeah, who's the one with the power ring?
Same. Who saved the people?
Yeah.
And I did it with a racetrack. I could have did it with a fluffy cushion. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're saved.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. 45 days later, saved. Okay, day 45, company saved. Day 44, go.
Point plan.
45 day, 45 point. Day 44, go. Who is this idiot? So, it's a little office for you guys. I did the twirl.
Hate the twirl. It's more of a spin.
100%. I'm probably going to do a spin. So it's the same argument. I'm sorry I'm talking about this weeks later. I'm sorry I'm talking about this weeks later. But Mortal Kombat, what more did you want? What more could you have done better? And since I already know it's a no, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. That's how I feel. Dave Chappelle does that in one of his things. When he's playing Black Bush, and he's like, you ain't got armies? Then I think you need to shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Like, and I agree. Same. Mm-hmm. Last one. And it never really got answered for me, so this isn't a like, but I think that Hector Hammond, Peter Sarsgaard, is Brainiac. And I don't know if that's true. So
I have no idea.
If it is, I like it. If it's not, I don't like it.
Let's find out
I am
right now. Okay.
Up. He's in DC. Mm-hmm. He is Brainiac.
Hey.
But it looks... No, I don't know if he is.
Oh.
But it looks like he is not. He's Superman's... What do you call it? He's Superman villain.
Brainiac is?
Yeah.
Because I just Googled Hector Hammond. Mm-hmm. And it says... Fictional character, supervillain in DC Comics, primarily an enemy of Green Lantern.
Oh, really?
But it doesn't... Let me look further and see if it gives, like, him a villain name.
See, this says that he comes from...
Alter ego. Hector Hammond. Alter ego. Hector Hammond. Notable aliases. Wildcard. Ophidian.
So, no. Is that the name that the guy had, the something of life that we found on the Justice League? Remember the key of life or something that Darkseid was looking for?
The anti-life equation?
The anti-life equation. I think Ophidian had that.
I don't know.
I was listening to that podcast and I named off the people who had anti-life equation.
Oh.
Because one of them was Steve Trevor.
Yes.
And you were surprised, and I was like, yeah, you should.
Of course I was.
So
you should be.
Stickwell. What were you about to say? You said, oh.
No.
Oh, that wasn't.
Oh, because I was going to look it up.
What? Anti-life equation? Oh, it's not a big deal.
Like the owners of it.
Yeah, so he's not Brainiac, so not one of my likes. So I got 3, 4, 5 likes, whatever. But those are all my likes. Likes for you, young sir.
My likes. First one, same as the first, as yours, Ryan Reynolds.
The first one, same as the first. I was like, I hope so.
My first like, same as the first like.
Second
My
like.
first like is the first like. Ryan Reynolds. I like him. Mm-hmm. He's got like a way about him. There's just something about this guy that's charismatic. I enjoy it.
About this guy.
I just thought he was a genius.
He seems employable.
God. But like
he's Abed, but employable.
It's like Abed, but employable.
Abed.
I like Ryan Reynolds. I like as much as I I know I've said it before on the podcast and just in a regular conversation, so I'm on record. I like the Green Lanterns. I don't know a ton about them, but I think they're cool.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I was looking through stuff in my apartment the other day to get rid of and like clean out my closets. I found like a mini book of posters, DC posters. They're like, like this big. They're like maybe 3 by 4 inches. And I was looking through and was like, I don't care. Found a cool looking Green Lantern one, put it on my door. Found one that's like got a bunch of Justice League people on it. It looks like an old Japanese woodcut. It's got like the big water wave behind him. I put it up on my door. I was like, cool, Green Lantern, like it. I honestly, while we were watching the movie, I was like, I should get some comics. Like, I should buy some Green Lantern books.
Just so
and
you
just
can
like
know.
learn, just more, cause see if I actually like him, or if I'm just a fucking poser.
I wish I was like you, because I
No, you
don't.
don't.
No, I do. Because, like, your immediate thought was, this is why I don't think I'm that smart. So your immediate thought was, I should get some books and learn about this guy. I was like,
Well, to see if
hey, I watched the movie. I got all I need to know. He's cool.
Well, see, my wanting the books won't do me any good, because God knows that they're going to do anything else with the character in future movies. So
That's why the books are a good idea.
that's fair. Ryan Reynolds, I like him. I like the suit. I liked the Green Lantern suit.
Same.
It looked kind of like
wrote that down.
armor. It looked kind of like musculature, like muscle fibers. I thought it looked pretty good.
Guess what? It looked like energy,
Yeah,
which is what the Green Lantern ring is.
yeah. I thought the suit looked pretty good. Next, like the
Thank
Green
you for
Lantern.
saying that.
You're welcome.
Well, because that's one of the main things people didn't like about this movie.
Well, we'll get there.
That's fair.
Next, like the Green Lantern Corps. I liked them. I liked seeing all the different aliens, all the different races. I loved Kilowog. I thought was great when he's like, "I'll train him," and he just beats the shit.
Can I
Because how do you
cannot train
at the
him?
end? Because how do you train somebody in a movie? You beat the shit out of them
Same.
while berating them.
Same.
It's,
Parenting 101.
that's how you learn. U.S. Army Training 101.
Same.
Kilowog was good, even though he didn't do a ton in the movie. I was hoping he'd do more. He didn't do a ton. Abin Sur, I liked him. Timwo Morrison, why not? I'm going to give him a like. He looked good. Again, he had like that, after his suit came off, like, I mean, you could see it on his face, but like he had the full body, like you could see the musculature.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me of Lord Zed / like Ivan Ooze thing going on.
Fair.
Liked him. I liked Sinestro, however you say his name. I like Mark Strong. I thought he was good. He looked like the effects on him looked really good.
I thought he looked great.
I thought he looked good.
Thought he looked
I
great.
liked his character. I liked at the end when you were like, oh, there's a, or no, that was, yeah, you're like, there's a credit scene. I was like, I guarantee you I know what it is.
Yeah.
Because during the movie, he's like, we need a yellow ring. And I was like, this man is gonna be evil. He wasn't evil yet.
So evil.
He wasn't evil yet.
Yeah, he wasn't.
But because I know that there's like red, green, yellow, orange, blue, I think even
you told me
purple,
that.
black and white rings out there. I was like, okay, and I know Sinestro has a yellow ring at some point, like the fear ring. I was waiting for it. I was waiting for him to be the villain, but he wasn't. So I like that I got twisted a little bit. They got me.
Twisted Tea
Because I
action.
went in there and I was like, I know this guy is going to turn on him. And he didn't. But at the end, because he was like, we need a yellow ring so we can fight the yellow power of fear. And I was like, okay. I mean, it's the best idea he had, and everyone else was like, yeah, let's go. Let's go with that, because no one wanted to hear Hal Jordan.
Well, even before Hal Jordan showed, because Hal Jordan showed up right before he fought Parallax. So it was just Sinestro saying ideas. And he's like, what are your ideas? And they're like, we'll deal with it when we deal with it.
Yeah.
Like, they had nothing.
They didn't have a 45-point plan.
Listen, company not saved. The core not saved.
Nothing saved.
Yeah, same.
But I thought he looked good. I thought the effects in him looked really good. Honestly, like throughout the whole thing, I thought he was good. I liked his character. It surprised me. Next, like the Green Lantern powers in general, I think are cool. And I like it when the first thing he does with his powers is like just giant punch like 3 dudes for beating the shit out of him in a parking lot.
Yeah.
Why not? And then he uses that move again at the end of the movie
Callback.
to punch Parallax into the sun. Liked it.
It was great.
When he made the jets in space to like fly, when I liked that what Kilowog taught him came back at the end of the movie also. He's like, oh, he made a mini sun, like as part of his training, like he made a mini sun that was basically going to kill him. Like during training, and he's like, the bigger, like it's got the gravity of a sun, the bigger you are, the faster you burn up. And he makes a little grappling hook and like doesn't get pulled into it. And he's like, oh, I was taught this at the beginning of this movie, or toward the beginning of this movie. And he makes 2 fucking jets and like he flies out toward the sun, draws them out to him, and then makes 2 like fighter jets, straps himself to them with his energy, and just like flies past him, gives him the old okey doke, flies around him, lets him get sucked into the sun, and then just sucker punches him right in the mush. See? And he falls into the sun. It was great. And
But I love
debatable.
it. I love it.
Debatable.
No, it's no debate. We don't.
No,
Good.
great. There.
Deal with it.
Problem solved.
Deal with it.
Not problem, not existent, therefore not solved.
No problem solved.
Not
There's no
necessary.
problem here. Simple.
Apology not accepted because it's not necessary. I like the racetrack.
Yeah.
Because he did. It was in the movie. Mm-hmm. When he was in his nephew's room, he walked. The first thing he did, or the last thing he did as he walked out of the room, was he flicked the little car on the racetrack, and it did the loop, and it flew off the track.
Yeah.
And the first thing he does with his power after the big punch, like his first big use of his power, he makes a racetrack. He makes a car around a falling helicopter, and then makes a racetrack under it. Mm-hmm. I thought it was cool.
It was great.
Because, again, like you said, what else would you make?
Yeah.
A big fucking mattress?
Lame.
Why?
Right.
Like, oh, look, I made a... That'd make for a really good movie scene. Helicopters flying out of the sky. Pfft, got it.
Got it. Easy.
There. Bye, everybody. I thought the racetrack was cool.
Bye, everybody.
I thought the racetrack... Bye, Tuna.
Yes, I was
Bye, Pam. Fucking Walter Jr.
Bye, Tuna.
Bye, Tuna. Loser.
I loved him. I loved him. I do not like the actor, but I love him. I thought he was great.
My name was actually Walter Jr.
Oh, you're Tuna.
They thought that he better embodied the name, the spirit of the name.
Bye, Pam. Bye, Tuna. Just the way he said it.
Like a child.
Who is that? What's the actor's name?
I don't know.
Damn it. Not. I want to say it's. Don't know.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
Doesn't matter.
I thought it was good. I thought his powers were good. Mm-hmm. The core, all the characters, Ryan Reynolds, Sinestro, I liked it.
That's fair. Can I say I like the powers too because they're imaginative?
Yeah.
And I remember playing the DC game on PlayStation 4, or nope, 3, the DC Universe game, and I would use Stewart, because that was the black guy,
yep,
right?
John Stewart.
I would use John Stewart, and every time Hal Jordan came up, I was like, nah, give me Stewart. For no reason, but, you know. Anyway, so I liked that you could do a hammer fist and, like, crush people. You could do the punch. You could do something else too. But it was like, ooh, this is good. Because I don't think, because to be fair, I was playing a trial version. I wasn't playing the whole thing because you had to buy it.
Yeah.
And so, you can play online though. So, whatever. So anyway, you couldn't be Superman. But you could be Batman. Trash. They hated it. He was dumb. But you could be Batman or Green Lantern. I feel like you could be Martian Manhunter, but I didn't understand him.
Honestly, I probably would have picked Green Lantern also.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, Batman, great, I can throw a Batarang. Like, as much as I think Batman's cool, I'm like, what can you do? Batarang? Cool.
Batman became the... He was okay. He was already popular, so let me not say that. But he showed his formidability, if that's a word, in Arkham Asylum, the game.
The Arkham games were really good.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he was shown like he could beat some ass.
Yeah.
But in every movie before and up until Batman vs. Superman, he did not beat ass. Because Christian Bale was trash. And then the rest of them were just... their nipples are hard, or...
All I can think of the old ones is when he drop kicked. He put his fucking full body weight behind a drop kick on Mr. Freeze, and he landed on his ass. Yeah. And Freeze just took it because it's Arnold.
Yeah.
Because a real live human being did that to him like 5 years ago.
It did happen.
And they fell on their ass, and he like stumbled forward. Did like a The bug bite me?
That did happen. I forgot about that.
Yeah, like a full-grown man like took a running start and drop kicked him in the back, and he's like, "What was that? A bug must have bit me or something." Did someone leave a window open?
The one thing about being a big guy, I'm a big guy, is that when those things happen, you just kind of laugh. Because like I've had people like run into me and be like, "Can you not? Can you just not do that though?" Like it's just fun. It's fun.
You got that low center of gravity. You can't knock him over.
Same.
I can knock him over. You can't knock him over. Yeah. I can knock him
over. Oh, egg. That's fair. You done with your likes? Or you got more?
That's pretty much it.
Well, if you got more.
Well, just the powers in general.
Okay.
The racetrack, he made a fucking flamethrower. He made, like, when dude was dropping rocks on him, he made, like, steel beams above, or, like, steel, like, plates above him. He made steel beams under them to hold them up. Mm-hmm. He made jets. He made a big fucking Gatling gun.
He made a Gatling gun, yeah.
He made springs under a truck to shoot it in the air. He made a catapult to catch a fucking energy ball and throw it back. Mm-hmm. I like that the powers, like you said, they're like imagination based. You're like, oh, what do you want to make? What's like a ridiculous thing you could think of? You reach into your pocket and pull out like a giant fucking mallet or something. He could do that. Only if it's funny.
We should watch Mask.
Ooh, that's a movie I haven't seen in a long time. Speaking of green things, yeah.
That's a good movie.
It's a movie I haven't seen in a long time.
We can do green slushies.
Again.
Yes.
But yeah, so those are my likes. I'm done with likes.
Okay. Let's go dislikes.
Okay.
I feel like I'm going to be heartbroken here.
Okay.
But you go.
Okay. His mask. I thought his face mask didn't look great.
No.
If you wanted something, and then it goes into my next dislike, the effects were often cartoony at times. Like, and not in always a good way.
Explain.
Like his mask didn't look great. Okay. It just looked like a green stripe on his face most of the time. What's his name? Parallax. Anytime his mouth opened, it just didn't look right. It looked really just like weird. None of like the Green Lantern Corps characters look bad.
Right.
But it's like every now and then I thought the suit had its moments where you could just really tell it was standing out from everything else around it. There were parts where it didn't look the best, but like the suit had its moments where it did look really good, but it had some moments where it didn't look great. The mask was almost always bad for me.
Yeah.
The effects being kind of cartoony, Parallax didn't always quite look right to me, and there were moments where the plot's advancing elsewhere and Hal Jordan appears.
What do you mean?
Where and maybe there were parts where I was like on my phone or I was like writing instead, but it seemed like he's having a love scene with Carol, and dude, what's his name? Hector was like doing something somewhere, and then all of a sudden Hal Jordan shows up. Like the part where they're in the hangar, and his dad, Hector's dad, is like, oh, we're gonna get some help, and Amanda Waller's there, and he just like turns on them, and then all of a sudden Hal Jordan just like kicks the fucking wall in, and he's just there. Like, did something happen where he knew to go there?
It did,
and I just missed it.
So he was doing the love scene. He went back home, and he went back to his house, and then the ring started making some kind of noise, just because remember in the beginning of the movie it said it's gonna let you know when there's a threat nearby.
Yes.
And so he was like sitting there, then all of a sudden it started making some kind of noise or something, and then he kind of like was like, huh, and then that's when they cut to him flying into that hangar. Yeah. So that's the only one I know about.
Well, then that does explain that. Okay. But yeah, that was like the main instance where I was like, he just kind of showed up.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like the movie knew like to me, I guess I missed the part where his ring like activated and told him.
Yeah, because when he starts getting into his powers, I noticed that his eyes changed.
Yes, his eyes changed color.
And that's what happened. Like he was sitting, like I said, he was at home. He just came back from Carol's house, and then all of a sudden he looks up, his eyes starts changing, and he goes,
Okay.
And then
I think I did miss that part, though.
Yeah, and then he shows up, and then Hector is like, oh, whatever, big and bad and doing some shit. Like, because I think he was It was when he woke up is when it kind of cut scene to Ryan Reynolds walking into the house. And then it cuts back to that, and she's like, let's put him out. And then the guy dies, and then he shows up. Okay. So that's fair. That's what happened.
Another dislike. I thought the romance angle was just a little heavy.
They got married and had 3 kids in real life, so it worked. No, I'm just playing.
I'm
joking with you.
I mean, you did just tell me a second ago that they're actually married. So
I'm just fucking with you. I agree. It was almost awkward.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Because at some point it seemed like, hey, they're just really good friends, and then it's like, oh, hey, they used to be a thing.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, it seemed like they might have even been like step siblings. At one point, I got like a weird vibe where they're
brother sister vibe.
Yeah, like they had like that brother sister weird romance thing. Like, are they siblings? Are they dating? Like that weird fucking trend on TikTok that I thought was hilarious. That you told me about it and then you sent it to me and I was losing it. I thought the romance angle was a little forced in some senses, and also just like, let's just put it in as much of the movie as we can.
Yeah.
Because I get it. Like, every superhero's got to have his significant other or her significant other, I guess. But yeah, but in some cases, maybe they don't, and maybe it doesn't have to be a big part of the plot. But I don't know.
That's fair. No, I agree with you 100%. I was just fucking with you about the getting married part, but yeah, I agree because I could tell. And watching it, this is the second time I watched it, maybe the third time, but I was like, all right. And I also don't like Blake Lively, so I was like, yeah.
And every time he uses powers in front of her, she was like, oh, that's so cool. Yeah. I'm never going to get used to how cool that is.
Yeah, she said that.
I was like, oh, come on.
And then she was like, I don't really want to be with you, though. I was like, come on.
Yeah, and he's like, I have to go now. Yeah. Space needs me.
Yeah. Facts.
But those are my dislikes.
Okay. I only have 2. One, this is not a dislike of the film. This is a dislike of the people who hated the film. Mm-hmm. I didn't think the CGI was as bad as everyone makes it out to be.
That's fair.
You're correct about the mask. I agree with you about the mask. Everything else I thought was fine. I thought that his powers, they look great. On screen, the Green Lantern powers look amazing.
Yeah, because I can see how people could make a content. Like I said, some of the effects look cartoony sometimes. And it was mostly the mask and like Parallax's weird face.
Yeah.
But when your power is like making a big fucking energy fist and swinging at somebody, how are you going to make it look super realistic when it's made out of glowing green energy?
Right.
What's it supposed to look like?
It's just like the argument I had with someone else when if we're in a fantasy world, do not bring your realistic expectations into this world.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people do that. And that's the reason why I think people think like Batman could win a fight, and I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
I mean, Batman could win some fights. He's not going to win every single fight.
But
okay. Some people seem to think Batman could win any fight you put him in.
Right. So I'm sorry. People think that he can win a fight against Superman, I should say, and he can't. Superman's an alien. I also don't think he can beat anybody in the Green Lantern Corps either. Just to be honest. So yeah. So either way, I just didn't think the CGI was that bad. His mask does look weird. His eyes don't necessarily look weird, but then when the mask gets put on, it's like, this is weird. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But the suit, all in all, for me was great. I thought it was pretty fire.
Yeah.
I was like, this looks good. And I was like, yes, of course it's CGI. You can tell it's CGI, but so
what else are you gonna paint his naked body green?
Right.
Which I know there's people out there who love it.
But
what's your other option? Is you put him in a suit and then people are like, he doesn't wear a suit, it's just on him.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're pissing off the same people for a different reason.
Yeah, basically. So for me, I was like, okay, cool. Next up, this is a dislike for the movie, but also the brand. And I wrote DC shitty hidden identity tricks. They probably have the worst hidden identities of any superhero to date. Just meaning how they hide their superheroes. So, yeah, like, if you put on a Green Lantern mask, Chris, I'd be like, what up, Chris?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, who is this strapping young man?
Like, who's this mystery man?
Like, I'm not going to look you dead in the eye and be like, I don't know.
Have we met?
Yeah. Yeah.
Something familiar about you.
Oh, Jim, you've changed. Yeah,
I
no.
haven't seen you since my accident with the acid.
I fell eyes first into a vat of acid.
Blind guy McSqueezy.
Blind guy.
The women of improv class hate him.
That Batman, come on, I can tell that's Batman. Superman, even Superman, like, I love Superman. I would say this, I got a Superman cup, I got a Superman keychain, I have a Superman shirt. Have I ever told you that my dad was called Superman when he was younger?
No.
I've never told you that?
I don't think so.
I think that's maybe where it comes from, but yes, he told me that. And he was like, yeah, because he was like a small kid. Like, he's not taller than me. He's always been like 5'11" or whatever, right? And so he used to tell me when he was a kid, he always wanted to play sports, but his mother was afraid to put him in sports because he'd get hurt because he was small. But he's like, he would go outside, play basketball for hours, blah, blah. He said he wanted to play football, but his mother said no. So, but she allowed him to play basketball. And then he played basketball for some Hall of Fame coach until, I forgot who it was. But he was like, I would play against the older kids because I was better than them. And so he's like, when I was younger, they stopped letting me play because they started calling me Superman because I would be able to jump out the building, I could dunk, I could do all these things. And I was like, yeah, all right, your dad telling you stories. I'm like, okay. Literally, we were out one day when I was younger, and someone was like, is that Superman? I was like, okay. I know for a fact he didn't see this man before
He didn't set it up.
He did not set this up. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, man, listen, these guys are telling me stories about my dad. And I was just like, okay.
Nice.
That's what's up. Keith never got that. Keith me, not Keith my dad. Keith me never got any nicknames like that. So, but yeah, so that's fun. But anyway, off track. So Superman, I love him. I think he's great. I think he's the best. He is the best. There's no debating. Even his identity is also shitty because I just learned recently that the excuse for him people not knowing who he is that he can alter the way he looks towards people. And I was like, no.
It's just glasses.
It's not good enough.
Yeah.
It's not good enough for me.
You're like, who's this 6 foot, 350 pound fucking juiced up reporter sitting at this typewriter?
It's fucking Dwayne The Rock Johnson. That's what it is.
Yeah. Who's this giant primatologist that works at the Daily Planet?
To be fair, though,
/ pro wrestler.
I've had some shitty jobs and I'm 6'2", 300 something pounds, so I get it. But also,
but they could also probably pick you out of a group.
I'm also not jacked, so.
But they'd also probably pick you out of a group pretty easily.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, like who saved you? Him, the giant man.
The guy, yes, saved.
The big guy.
Yeah,
who saved you? It wasn't fucking Jimmy Olsen. He didn't lift a car off of me.
So, yes. So, I just think DC, well, I mean, Wonder Woman doesn't have a mask. Green Lantern does. The only person who really hides their identity is Martian Manhunter. I mean, the Flash, even his mask is kind of like, eh.
He wears a suit.
Who?
The Flash.
Yeah,
it's like the Batman suit. Like, it covers pretty
everything
much. But his mouth, like his nose down. And it comes out
like
of a
if you showed me, Chris, I'm looking at you right in the face. If you show me your, I like the radio.
Oh.
You said sorry. I had to lead into it. I'm sorry. You're a beautiful human being, Chris. You're good.
One of these days, just accept it.
I didn't say.
I know what I gotta do.
But I'm looking you straight in the face. If you just showed me your eyes, I wouldn't be able to pick you out of a lineup. But if you show me from your nose down, I'd be like, that's Chris. Because that's how you identify people. Some people you can see by their eyes. Some people you can see by their mouth. Some people you can just see by their nose. But at the end of the day, some people are very memorable.
Yeah.
And so, just like when they, in The Dark Knight, when the one Russian model is like, maybe you're the Dark Knight. Do that to Christian Bale, you're like, hey, Batman, the guy with the list. Got it. That's a guy who saved us. Like, because, I mean, seriously, like, if you see Christian Bale talks, like, he does have a list, but he looks like he has a list, like, when he speaks. And it's like, that's Batman, guys. And he's also 5'7". Like, Batman's not that short, but Christian Bale is. I don't know how tall he is, but he's not 6 feet. He's short. So it's like, I don't know.
And there's always somebody out there who figures out their secret identities. Like, I'm pretty sure Hugo Strange knows Batman's secret identity.
He did in Gotham.
And, I mean, I'm pretty sure Lex Luthor knows who fucking Superman and Clark Kent is.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, he's like, it's no fun.
The Joker does. The Joker definitely does. The Riddler does. Two-Face does.
Yeah.
All his enemies know who he is. Now, this makes me think. Maybe they weren't bad people. Maybe they became his enemies because they found out his secret identity. And he's like, oh, you gotta go.
I gotta fuck with this guy.
Yeah, you gotta go. Like, oh, wait, you know my secret identity? All right, you're the Riddler. I gotta beat your ass.
Yeah. This is the guy. So the Batman, the guy in the $600 bat suit, has to take this from the guy with a green outfit with purple question marks all over it. Come on.
Yes.
No, I'll just break your fucking leg.
He made enemies out of everybody because they figured out who the fuck he was. Yes. But that's just me being not liking the DC that much. But either way, for this movie though, I really don't have a lot of complaints. I actually like the movie. It's not a bad movie. So yeah, that's it. That's my dislikes.
Okay.
So with that being said, let's go straight into the Slushie Meter. Mm-hmm. You want me to go first?
Sure.
3.25.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to give it a 3.5, but I feel like that's too high. No, I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Okay.
3.5. Slushie Meter. Book it. Sign till delivered.
Book it.
I'm yours. Hugo Strange.
Oh my. I'm going to give this a 3.0. 3.0.
Oh. I forgot you said 3.
It's an even 3. I'm going to give it an even 3.
Okay. I thought about doing that too. Then I was like, I kind of want to give it more. That's why I gave it a 3.5.
Yeah. I don't think this movie was as bad as everybody seemed to think that it was. Because if I really thought it was, I would give it like a 2 or lower.
Fair.
It was okay. Like, it was, I shouldn't even say it's okay because that makes it sound like it's bad. There were parts of this movie that were solid. I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. Honestly. Like, I didn't think it was terrible. I didn't think it was amazing, but it was good. So I'm going to give it a solid 3.
Nice.
Because all I heard about this movie was how it was that it caught a bunch of shit. Everyone's like, the CG's bad. And even, like, apparently Ryan Reynolds was making fun of it when in the Deadpool... Was it Deadpool or Deadpool 2? Like, the opening credits. Yeah, like, they, it's just, like, become, like, a joke to make fun of the movie. I get it. Maybe he didn't like it. Maybe he's, like, looking back, he's like, I've done better things. Whatever. You still made it. You're still probably going to get a little bit of money from us watching it. Yeah. So, cry all the way to the bank, Ryan Reynolds.
Well, it didn't really do that well.
No?
As far as money, no. It was very poorly received. But Ryan Reynolds was happy about that. I read this because the director didn't want him to be Hal Jordan. He wanted... Who did he want? Let's go back. Let's see what we can find out from reading. Bradley Cooper.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I don't really... I mean, he's cool. He was in Limitless, that movie where he was limitless.
God.
What's her name has said so much better things, but that's the one thing I'm always going to remember. Phyllis. Oh. Get with Phallus and go over the drawings.
Did you say Phallus?
Phyllis? Oh, sorry. Penis is on the brain. But yes, Bradley Cooper. So, to get him back because they casted Ryan Reynolds, he made Ryan Reynolds' life hell on set. He was like, great take, do it again. Like, stuff like that, yeah. Like, so, he was happy that it failed. So Ryan Reynolds hated it. He hated it because of the director. And I was like, honestly, here's the thing. I work for people like, man, I do a great job at this job. But if this job closed today, I would be happier because fuck everybody here. I've been there before. So, am I there currently? Maybe.
Yeah, and I wasn't making nearly what he made. Which I don't know what he made, but it guarantees it's more than I make.
Let me tell you another dislike. Because it just popped up.
Hit me.
Hector Hammond, his screams. He was screaming the entire goddamn film.
That's fair.
I was like, okay, calm it down. 3.25. I'm changing my answer.
Okay.
Either way.
I'm sticking at 3.
Yeah, no, you definitely should. But because of that, screams. Yeah. So that was The Green Lantern.
Yes.
Good movie, pretty good movie. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst. It wasn't as bad as other DC movies that we watch.
Yeah.
It's not in the DC universe.
That's for sure. Suicide birds.
Yeah. Boom. There it is. You prey squads.
Eat, pray, squad.
Sounds like a Call of Duty.
Don't see it.
Sounds like a Call of Duty lobby. So either way, yeah, that was Green Lantern. Next up is going to be another movie, Redacted, at this time.
I'm a big fan of movie Redacted. Who starred in that? Oh, yeah, it was podcast favorite, Redacted.
Kevin Michael Richardson, probably.
Maybe, if there's some voiceover work in it, and good for him.
Good for him. Either way, why don't you follow us on... I don't know why.
Yeah, why don't you?
Yeah, because
just
after
sad.
I said it, I was like, "No, this is gonna work out perfectly." And then you started laughing. I was like, "Damn it!"
Why don't you follow us on Twitter? God,
we have fun.
Oh, you want the big dog? Oh, you want the big dog? Oh, fuck.
Okay, so we appreciate you guys listening. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Slushie Review. Also, Instagram at Slushie Review Podcast. Also on YouTube. And then check us out on any podcast platforms, wherever and whenever you find podcasts at Slushie Review. Yeah, we got no new movies coming out in the next few weeks.
So probably going to dip into some classics.
So you'll get what you get, and you're going to like it.
Yeah.
And if you don't, please do.
Please tell your friends about this show.
Tell your friends.
If you have any.
We want to say we were not making fun of Andy Griffith. We have fun.
We like to have fun.
Either way, let's just go ahead and be done with this. This has been Keith.
And Chris.
And we'll see you some other time.